I'm Lawanda.
I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Ron.
And we have two special guests, one of which joined us last week, Jason, and a new guest with us, Hassan. And so they are going to back Ron up. I'm sure Ron is so happy to have some male backup these days.
It just it just makes it so easy when I have bros with me. You understand?
All right, so like we did last week, we're going to be talking about power again this week. This time we're talking about episode 102. So we'll be right back with you in just a second.
Baby, I know where the last one burned you. Know that it cool. Wanna show you how I'm nothing like him. Swear that's the truth. You can't trust.
All right, we are back, and like I said, we're talking about PowerBook 2, episode 2. This one was titled Great Expectations. So we heard that book referenced a lot throughout this episode. And later on, I'm sure we'll get everyone's input on how they felt like it, intertwined with the storyline here. But Jason and Hassan, do you want to let us know a little bit about yourselves before we get started?
Yes, my name's Hassan. I'm a writer, staff writer at BT. I've also written for Law and Order and also Rel, the show Rel.
Okay.
Cool.
And as far as me, I mean, same old same. Just like I said, producer, writer, direct some things, and just here to add in. Last week I was the nitpicker, so I'm gonna try to broaden my range today.
Oh, you're good, man. You're good.
Okay.
You good?
Well, we're glad to have you both with us because you give us a different perspective and you're looking with a different lens. So
That's what I was going to say
good
too.
to have. Yep. I love it. So you guys want to go ahead and jump into this episode?
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Let me start out with Tasha, because I have a thing with Tasha, and I'm always going to have that because Tiffany loves Tasha to death, and she and I.
And you love Ghost to death.
Oh, come on,
but
let's not spread rumor. I'm just talking about Tasha right now. I'm a little worried for Tasha because she wants to keep this. She's not telling the truth to her lawyers, and she expects this magical event to happen. She thinks she can continue to lie, or shall I say, withhold the truth, and then expect her lawyers to come out and do something, magical. She's got to come forward and let them know what they're dealing with because,
I don't know about that one because Ghost was in the same predicament, a few times in previous seasons. You can't just come out and admit to your crimes like that when you're involved in the kind of stuff that they are. So I get that she's trying to protect Tariq, but there's no way she can just like outright come out and say, yeah, I did this. I was active in this part of it or whatever. She needs a lawyer like, Ghost always had Proctor.
Well,
she needs a Proctor type lawyer that can lie for her and get her off and weasel his way out of situations.
But look, I've read some comments about Davis, and Davis is the type of lawyer that wants to win under any circumstances.
but that investigator he has working with him seems straight-laced though.
She's straight-laced, but I know Davis can handle that because, the bottom line for Davis is he doesn't take any L's, and it's all about the money. It's all about the digits, that money. So if he knows what he's working with, I think he knows how to defend her. But you got to come clean to some respect. You just can't expect Davis to walk in and just wave.
But she's not giving him any room to work anyway because as long as he has no information, I think they're trying to allude to the fact that he knows that Tariq did the crime, and I think he's trying to inch his way over there. But until they actually find out what's going on, he can't do anything with the case. It looks like a stalemate kind of a thing.
I wasn't mad at his angle, though, that he came with trying to say, that there was some prosecutorial misconduct because, it's clear as day, Sachs has like some kind of vendetta. That whole office has some kind of vendetta against that family. And so I wasn't mad at the angle he took with trying to get the whole thing dismissed because it did look so shady on Sachs' behalf.
That's why I think she's operating that way because through the past, she learns that and knows that the truth doesn't set you free. You know, she knows how she can kind of play the system without giving honest truth. A lawyer, a good lawyer, she believes probably will possibly get you out. You know, they offered her the deal, you know, so obviously it's no jail time with the deal that they offered, but she knows exactly what happened. She doesn't want to tell on the person who actually did the crime, I think. And I think she just feels like this lawyer can get her out.
Yeah, and then, you know, you have to build up trust with your attorney to know that you can tell them those type of things, because she gave Tamika a glimpse of the truth, and then Tamika was like, I can't do that. So I think she just has to feel her way, because this is a new person, to know what his tolerance is.
And Tamika was a different, she was a different
I
type
think
of
it's
lawyer.
good to make an assessment that she can't tell that investigator the truth.
No, but Tamika was a different type of lawyer. She was very straight-laced, and you know, telling her the truth, she probably would have walked away from the from her client with that. Although I think that Davis is a, you know, he comes from the other side of the track, if you will, and you know, his thing is about making money. If you can make me some money, or you can get me into this high-profile case where I'm going to look good once I win, he's all for that. I don't think he really cares whether or not she had any hand, although she didn't help her case any when she blurted out in court that she had Tommy kill Ghost. I don't even know where that came from.
Yeah, that was shocking that that came out.
Do that, yeah.
But
yeah, I can see her saying Tommy did it, but saying that she told Tommy to did it is a whole nother story.
That's
incriminating. Why would you do that?
Exactly.
Yeah, she's basically incriminating herself. But I think, you know, with her being a businesswoman and also being who her husband was to, you know, society, I think she knows that everybody that appears clean isn't. So she doesn't kind of want to, like, you know, go in and tell the truth and then it gets somebody locked up that she loves. You know, and
she needs a proctor. Proctor was good at giving Ghost a lot of, like, you need to pin it on him unless you want to go to jail. You need to do this if you want to do that. He gave a lot of he navigated the path of Ghost. I think that the Method Man character Davis, he doesn't seem like he's giving her anything other than, you're not giving me the truth. So if it's not that, he needs to kind of break down to her what's next, because I think that the way it's going right now, they're going to, of course, throw some kind of Hail Mary probably a few episodes down where she'll get freed. But right now, if you're talking about from a realistic point of view, I don't see a way for her to get out of jail this season at all.
Yeah.
Right,
and it's interesting that they bought that character, Sullivan, the lady that was involved with the previous case. They brought her in to kind of give her testimony. And she didn't seem like she was really helping Saxe out in that regard. But when they brought Blanca in, it was like, oh, Saxe better watch out. Yeah. Because Blanca she's ready to go back and get some get back for Saxe, messing her up last season.
Yeah. She's my prediction, by the way, as to what's going to happen, you know, because
I think Saxe is
she's not for it. She's not for it at all.
At all.
What are you about to say?
I was going to say the same thing, that I thought that Blanca eventually is going to be she's going to blow Saxe up. I think Saxe is going to be going down, whether he gets killed or whether he gets fired or whatever. Like, he's a screw up, he's going to remain a screw up. Yeah. And we were talking about Tasha. Tasha, she snitched on Ghost. She snitched on Ghost. She basically, because as much evidence as they have, they always thought that James was Ghost. They just never had the proof
that he was.
And when she spoke to the investigator, she basically confirmed that he was Ghost. I was like, Tasha, you know.
Yeah,
again, you know,
she's not thinking about the legacy, how it's going to impact her children, and really the impact it's going to have on her, which we started to see became obviously clear that you have to protect his image now more so than ever.
And that's why I was so glad that she didn't get the opportunity to speak at that speak the eulogy, because I'm sure she would have went in on Ghost. And, you know, Tariq had the pressure from Davis to kind of trash Ghost, but he also had the pressure from Simon to make
Stern was like, listen.
I was happy with the way that he kind of gave both sides of the story. He just said my dad was a complicated man.
He did a good job.
It was the truth. So
well, you know, it's funny. He took what Simon wanted, he took what Davis wanted, and then he took what his mother said. His father was a complicated man. And I think right there showed me a little more about Tariq than I have seen in the past, because he's able to absorb and then come out to something that is befitting to all, because I think everybody accepted his eulogy. And I think if I'm not mistaken, but there may have been an inference in that part, in that eulogy, where he may have felt a little sorry for killing his dad.
He got a glimpse of real power, and I think he understood what his father was trying to do for him. When he saw, I can't think of the name of the friend, when the friend was able to bring up his family name and get the
Uncle Gabe.
back off.
Uncle Gabe, yeah.
Yeah, and I think he understood at that point, oh, this is what real power is. This is what my father was trying to get. This is what he wanted from me. And I think it was that, when he understood that, what they said, the streets only leads to what? Death or jail.
Yeah.
When you looked at what they did with I guess Cain, when the character of Cain took him to the side under the bridge, and he breaks down, I know he got out of jail, I know he's a snitch, and he's breaking down that whole thing. What they're trying to show you, I think, is the growth that Tariq is taking on Ghost, the intelligence of Ghost. That's why I think that they're trying to highlight the whole thing at the school. They're trying to give you the whole thing. If you look at the PowerBook 1, Ghost was always 2 steps ahead of every problem.
Yep.
And it's the only way that they were able to kind of keep the scripts moving. If you didn't have that element, I don't think that the show would have been able to go to the end. So I think that they're trying to do the same thing with Tariq. They're trying to give him a air of intelligence at this point, so that you can understand why he would be able to get out of a situation, why he would be able to 2 steps ahead. I think they're really trying to make him like the legacy of Ghost.
But what I like too is I like the way he educated Cain, because, you know, if you're going to be out there like that, Cain, then you better know what you're up against. And I love the way Tariq was able to break it down to him as to who Uncle Frank really is. A, he's not your family. And B, if given half a chance, he'll turn you all in if it means him being free. So, you know, I like the way Tariq handled that, you know, the way he broke it down to Cain. And Cain had to come back, you know, say to Mary J, the man is intelligent. He's a smart dude.
Right. That's what I believe. He's making a healthy transition over to being. I think we're watching this transition before our eyes, right? You know, he goes to a great school where even the books that he's reading, you know, they're basically helping him without even knowing that they're helping him. They're educating him how to, you know, this is chess, not checkers. You know what I mean? And he's prepared to be the next up, you know, and he's even learning how to play both sides, meaning the law and his family, to protect his family from the law, you know. And I believe he's going to make a transition well. And I think that he is going to be a great leader in regards to better than his father was. I think we're watching something, you know, happen before our eyes, and I think we got to pay close detail about what's going on right now.
You know what I find? I find a parallel between how, when the show started, it became obvious that Ghost and Tasha had basically snitched on Kanan and sent him up the river for their benefit, for their own good. And I'm wondering, is Tariq gonna have to be in a position, if he's gonna have to choose to do that to his mother, if he's gonna have to choose to sacrifice her?
There was a line he had, because after he talked to Ghost's uncle, who basically said, you know, in the streets, you know, the only options for you are death or a jail cell. He went and told Tasha later on in the episode, he was like, I think there's another way. Mm-hmm. And so I'm wondering if he's kind of like scheming something up where maybe it's very planned out, but maybe he does have to snitch on Tasha or someone else in order to get her out. Because
I don't think it'd be Tasha though.
No, I don't think so either. I think what he's coming to is he's coming to the realization of exactly what's going on now. This isn't no school prank or anything like that. You know, you're in school to get that money, but at the same token, you got to be out there in the real world doing what you have to do. I would like to see more of Tariq building his empire,
right?
Because he's going to need it. He can't do it by himself.
Right.
And that little dude, Braden, his classmate Braden is just not the answer for me because, you know, hey, I get it, you know, white, rich neighborhood, and you think you can, you know, move drugs so easily like that, but you get one, look, let something happen, let Braden get caught up.
I don't know. That privilege was working this episode.
Yes, and that's what I say. I see it differently. I see it differently because as soon as they said the name, the cops fell back, and I looked at Tariq's face. Tariq observed that. He put that in his mental Rolodex.
The wheels was turning.
But they were university cops. See, and that's another whole story. And you know, and when Trace hit that cop, if Trace had been black, I don't care who his daddy was, he'd have gone down.
Right.
So yeah, privilege was working real high, but remember, they were university cops. When the real cops grab his ass, it's gonna be a different story.
But you know, when you have the protection of the Bradys and the Sterns of the world, you can, and the Democratic Party, it's certain things that can be swept under the rug if it benefits them. And I think that's what he's coming to understand. Even in his one-on-one dealings with Stern, he started to see that if it benefits them, I can get something out of it. And that's what my father was trying to say, that, you know, your power is the long game.
Right.
Ghost was trying to play the long game, and Tasha and Tommy were short-sighted.
Right.
And you know, they really couldn't see. And I think he's starting to see his perspective, and that's where the regret is going to come in, when he realizes he was trying to put me on this path.
And that's what I have been,
not dead or in jail.
And my devotion, if you will, to Ghost was all about that, because it is complicated to have a family and be a kingpin at the same time. The two don't jive together. So if you are the type of dude that can actually handle that and keep it together, and Ghost did for the most part, you know, you got to give it up to Ghost. Yeah, he did what he, pardon?
Until Angie.
Okay, I know Angie is a sticking point with you. And I'm saying, if Tariq is going to learn anything from his dad, he's going to learn that the outside game and that inside game he's playing with his family, they're two different games altogether. I can't bring a football player onto a baseball field. You can't play both games simultaneously. You're going to have to.
I'm going to give a prediction onto it. I tell you what I think he's going to do. I think he's going to set up something, and he's going to turn on Mary J. Blige's crew.
That's my.
I think that's going to be the hitch of where the contention is, you know, going forward throughout the season.
But I think that's what he meant too. Yeah. He said there may be another way. I think that way is using the queen pin Mary J. That's the way to go.
I was thinking of using her as muscle, because he's watching what they're doing in regards to taking people off that they have issues with. You know, he's getting in a relationship with the daughter, you know, and then getting close to her. And then I think that protection will help him in the long run in case he needs to take somebody else out. He don't have to do it. You know, he goes to Mary Jane and explains to her what's going on. If she thinks she can fit from it, you know, I think she'll be able to help him do what he needs to get done.
I was about to say that could backfire too, though, because you don't ever get anything without them wanting something back in return.
Right.
Absolutely.
Because I'm watching how everybody's looking at him. Even when he came into the party, how I don't know if there was a relative, the light-skinned guy. He basically just looked at him like, go get him. You know, in regards to her, telling her to go get him. You know, so once she showed her interest, and she was an attractive young lady, you know, so he immediately bit. You know, that's like Adam and Eve thing. Go ahead and, you know, go ahead and get her. You know, and he fell for it. So hopefully, you know, I think he's learning to play both sides right now. That's what I think he's learning right now, getting educated on how to play both sides, and then, you know, that's gonna give him leverage, I think.
But he needs to beware of Diane, Monet's daughter, because like Tariq has game. Monet was out there schooling her too. Like, this is how you recognize when a guy is doing this and that, and this is how you use it to your advantage.
And pull out whatever stops you have to get that information. So, you know, Mary J is really, you know, she's a queen pin for sure.
Right.
She's skating on thin ice too, messing around with the cop from the precinct.
Right.
Because, you know, Kane.
That's dangerous.
Kane peeped that too, you know. So it's going to come to head. And I don't know where you can go trying to play both sides like that, you know, because.
But in that, and
But you know, part of the thing that I keep recognizing it, and it's something like, I don't know if you guys ever watched the Netflix show that Killer Mike has, or ever listened to him when he talks about the way that Black people view criminality versus the way other people have made their billion-dollar fortunes through criminality that is somewhat celebrated, right? And so we looking at it as a negative, where I'm thinking that most of the people in America who made money and who hold power are people who got it the wrong way.
Right.
You know what I mean? So when you're saying both sides, I think it's stepping back and understanding that it's all a part of the game. The criminal aspect is as much a part of the game as the things that we deem legitimate. They go hand in hand. That's actually what moves power in this country.
right.
Well, I've
You
often
know, I
said
think he's recognizing that and trying to see how he can get his hands on both sides and move them. That there's no difference. It's just that if I really want to do this, I have to be able to control both.
white collar crime is, you know, to me, just as horrific as any other type of crime, with the exception that it usually involves politics, it involves other things.
But they all do. It doesn't exist. You know, you can't have drugs in this country unless on some level law enforcement and the government is involved. You can't, not on the scale that of the problem that we have in this country. It can't exist unless they allow it to exist, and that the same people who will say that we need to have the war on drugs are the same people that benefit from having drugs.
And allow the drugs to war and allow the drugs in. I mean, and I think that's what Ghost recognized. And this is also something Tariq is going to have to recognize, that you're going to have to, you're in an arena now, and it's not just about making money from drugs. You got to play that political side. And I think when he was developing, I mean, when he was giving that eulogy, you know, it suddenly hit him. It's like, you know, an epiphany of who his father really was. And I think that's when we got that moment of softness that
He
we
said, you know, I learned more about my dad after death than I knew while he was alive.
Exactly.
Well,
And
before
think
everything he did was in
hit home.
reaction. I said everything he did in the last series was in reaction to Ghost.
Right.
So now it's the first time where he's actually making decisions based on the playing field. So he's looking at things from a more strategic ideology. So it's gonna give him a different bend than he had in the first series if they do it right. I think that again, Ghost was always on a certain trajectory. He knew that he was trying to get out of that life, but he knew he had to do things to get to that point. Tariq is now realizing, it seems anyway, that he's in that same thing where he has to walk that line. And now he has to figure out how to stay, you know, in a certain vein so he can get the money from Ghost at the end of the college thing. He can do the juggle that he can get his mother, you know, the $500,000 that she needs. And I think all of these pieces have to fall in place at the right points, or eventually he'll get caught up, because it looks like he's not doing his schoolwork because he's doing the schoolwork for the basketball player. Right. And so that's already showing that he's not able to like keep all of these balls in the air right now. He's already dropping balls right at the beginning. So it's from here where he goes.
But it's only the beginning process. You know, I got a nickname for him already, and I call him Better Ghost, you know, because we're watching. We didn't get a chance to see Ghost grow. You know, he was this image that was introduced to us, and this is who we got a chance to see. We're watching him grow. We're watching him prosper. And I think by him learning, because he does, remember, this is who he's from, Tasha and Ghost. So he has their brain and their wit. And I think it's going to transition over to him being a lot better than it was, because we're watching him grow through schoolwork. And I think they're showing us that for a reason. They're showing us that he's behind, but at the end of the day, once we think he's behind, he's actually really there, you know, but he's juggling a lot right now. So right now he's learning.
I do like both of your comments. It kind of brings to mind the book that they mentioned, the Great Expectations book, because it is like the coming of age story of a young guy in growing up. He comes into some money, and throughout the book he's like conflicted between like his moral code versus like ambitious endeavors. And so I think Tariq you can see it clear as day in the storyline where, he's trying to come into some money, but his moral code versus what he's trying to achieve for his family is going to conflict every time.
But Ghost said something too before he murdered him too. So now I think like he knew something was going to happen, but he's going to make his son work to get to this. Because at the end of the day, he worked, he was playing both sides of the field too as well. Dealing with the female he was dealing with. So now his son is learning, okay, my dad, his lifestyle, my mom, her lifestyle. Now, my lifestyle. Now look what I'm doing. He's going to school, being well educated. They set that up for him. Now he's working to a goal of getting money, and he's accumulating money to pay for his mom's lawyer to help her get out. So he's learning how to hustle and juggle and, still do the right thing by going to school and passing and things of that nature. I think he's going to make they're building a monster, I believe.
Yeah, and I think he has an important ally who seems, Carrie, the professor, who seems like she might have a little crush on.
What's that about?
I was kind of
Where we going with that?
But
I'm like, where are we going? That's exactly what I'm thinking. I'm like, she's making me uncomfortable talking about this.
But she's a sex addict.
Well, I don't call her a sex addict. I mean, she was.
No, that's what they said.
No, that's what the storyline said. She has a
She's a sex
sponsor
addict.
because she has an addiction.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the basketball player, he shot his shot and she kept ignoring him.
But she kept ignoring him. So, but here's my thing. I think Carrie did the right thing by giving it up to Tariq's
The guy. I
can't remember his name, but I think she did the right thing because what she's trying to do is soften him to Tariq. She likes Tariq. I can see it. I think we all can see that. And I think giving it up to that professor is broke him down because obviously he came to the
vigil.
Vigil.
I think the vigil was too much.
I think
Vigil was too much.
You should have talked to him first because you see his reaction when he came.
Right.
That was like you get his buy-in first before you jump out there, and then you're gonna tell him, "Oh, come and say a few words about your father," like that. That she was wrong. She was team too much.
Yeah.
Team too much.
I think
She might have an angle too. We don't know that there's some sort of unwritten motive or something unheard yet of a motive that she has. She may be hustling on the side. We don't know, where she might go with that. I'm just looking at her character. I'm saying she may have something that she's angling for, and I just don't know what that is yet. But it feels like she's not just being nice to him. There's either like you said, either she's attracted to him, or she has some side motive that they just haven't revealed yet.
She has an unhealthy interest in him. Behavior complex or something. It's not benign.
But let's get back to Zeke for a moment. See, Zeke just needs to stay on the damn bench. Because, there's nothing about Zeke I like. Nothing. And if Tariq isn't careful, because Simon must have known something to set that up with, if Zeke doesn't make it, our deal is off.
Right. So, Zeke was a dummy. That's why
he's so far beyond. I mean,
I don't know if he's a dummy. He's just not trying because he hasn't had to.
Exactly.
But I'm saying he may not be a dummy, but he need help with all his classes. I can see if he need to be tutored.
But is that realistic?
But he need help with all of them. And then he was like, I don't know. I don't know.
It's really not realistic to think that Tariq could actually help Zeke in everything. And then with all of the things that Tariq has to deal with, it's going to be real interesting to see how he even pulls this man out of a D. I mean,
Tariq could probably fill out papers from high school to help Zeke.
I was about to say, I went to Villanova. They set it up that way. You'll be in the room with the basketball star, and they'll put a smart kid in the room with you just so you can do well. Have somebody thinking that if Ray is down doing his homework, maybe you'll do your homework. If he's studying, maybe you'll study. But they're putting him in there to help him make it through, just to make it, because they have a goal with him too as well.
Yeah, but he's doing his work. He's actually
he's supposed to tutor him. He's actually doing his work.
He's doing his work, right?
And that to me, and that's why he probably can't get the 2 books he was supposed to have read done. Right. So he's already behind. And if he continues in the mode he's at, he's going to be behind even more. And but then again, I guess this is more of something later to come. But I'm not sure if he really needs to graduate from Stanford. I believe that's where he is. I think that, I believe that he'll make enough money that it's not going to be an issue for him. You know, obviously.
You want street money or you want
No.
generational wealth money?
Well,
but the money
if you
that
play
he's gonna
street
have-
money right, you can get generational wealth. But you know, and this is
Yeah,
what
but his father already treaded that ground for him. It doesn't make any sense for him to go redundantly. His father did all of the dirt so that he wouldn't have to start back at square one.
precisely.
And I think that he's going to put himself in a position where he's going to get that money, because it didn't sound like it was a couple of $100,000. It sounded like it was millions of dollars.
Exactly.
Anybody with common sense say 3 years of school and millions of dollars. I'm not going to start from scratch when I could just ride the wave.
But
I
look,
think
he already has to raise $500,000, which is phenomenal to me. You know, and if you raise $500,000, you might have just as well have raised $1 million or 2 or 3. I don't know how you just stop at $500,000. So, and
He's
like
not.
you said though, Jason, I think that his father had already, you know, planted that path to generational wealth, which is what you were talking about.
But if you remember from even last season, he didn't want that lifestyle. He didn't want to be the privileged, you know, kid of a wealthy man. He wanted to get it out the mud. He wanted to be with Kanan. He wanted to be in the streets with Dre.
Yeah.
That was what he wanted. So,
we see
and
it.
now that Braden takes him to this frat party and he sees opportunity in his face, he's like,
feeling good.
okay, like
Maybe
I might have to get back to it.
Exactly. And that's what I see the growth in Tariq, understanding that, you know, money is money. And what you have to do is what you have to do. And you're going to need money to do it. So, you know, you can walk away from millions if you want to, but, and the, you know, come on, if you're going to play this game, you need product, you need money. How else are you going to get it?
That's
Now,
why he's
one
playing.
thing, go ahead.
That's why I think he's playing Mary J. close. She's going to be a factor in his life.
Yeah.
You know,
I
whether
was just about to say that.
you're right, and that's what I was thinking too. She's going to be a factor. He's going to keep her close. You could see the look on his face when he walked through the party. It looked like he was at home. He was just opposed to him how he looked when he was at school. You know, he was at home. He was like, wow, this is what it's like, huh? This being around this environment. This is what I miss, opposed to being all preppy and in school and like, this is okay. I got to do this because I got a bigger goal of getting this money. But at the end of the day, this is my thrill. This is what I'm interested in doing. This is what I think can bring me the wealth that I do want. You know, but he's learning he got to play both sides.
Yeah.
That's what I think he's learning, how to play both sides. Mary J is somebody, probably he has remnants of his mom through her, how she's the queen, how she's rolling and acting and making moves. So I think it's gonna be, I'm telling you, that family's gonna be very near and dear to him always.
Yeah.
And
And I was about to bring
he's
up
already
that
got
finesse.
Favor.
The finesse that he got with Mary J.
Yeah.
He get to Lorenzo to get Tasha the phone, the burner phone, and the
Right.
morning after pill.
You know
So
what?
I was like, Tasha was just so proud of him for getting her that phone. And I'm like, this woman is just off the chain. The things that she's proud of him for doing.
Because they know they taught him well. You know what I mean? Because he's not picking up. He's thinking back of how things were done with everybody that was involved in his life. Everybody wasn't clean cut. You know, even though his father was making that transition, he was hanging around thieves. You know, and there's no honor amongst them.
But
So
see, the
he's
crazy
learning.
thing is, though, she's upset that he might be possibly going back into the daycare business, but yet you so proud of him for getting you the burner phone and the pill.
Right.
You took
Like, come on, Tasha, like, where are you?
And this is why we don't like Tasha.
Exactly. You took that right out of my mouth because, you know, she's very hypocritical. On the one hand, you don't want him to deal with daycare and doing drugs through the daycare center. But at the same time, you didn't mind how he was able to get that, get that pill and that phone into you.
She's duplicitous. She's duplicitous all the time.
All the time.
I always felt like her character was never a straight character, and you can't trust her. And I think that she brought the worst qualities out of Tariq. She was always encouraging her to do the stupidest things.
Thank you.
When Ghost was always trying to tell him to keep a level head.
Wait a minute, let me see what Tiffany got to say.
I think she wanted she wanted to participate more in the game too.
Right, she did.
Because the other part of it is that she's not running the daycare. So that's why she doesn't want him to do it, because I think she thinks she needs to be in control of it.
Well, what do you guys think about her getting the morning after pill for the other inmate? I mean,
That's
has an
strategy.
ankle.
She's playing chess.
I know, but
Because-
are you thinking she's
because the
doing
chick-
it for protection or is it for
Yes.
other reasons?
Yes,
Probably to
yeah.
have some inside man. I think, you know, because she saw how that woman basically
Handle
Open
that
the
stuff.
guard.
she did.
Yeah.
She bossed up on the guard. So she was
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm gonna have some leverage. This will ingratiate me with her
Right.
once I do this thing for her.
But
Right.
there you go with Tasha again. Tasha she's crude. I mean, this woman knows the game. She knows it from top to bottom. And, you know, and look, you ladies were mad at Ghost because of Angie. I get it. But I get it.
You keep making it that one thing. And I've said this over and over again. And one of the commenters said something about Tiffany is starting to think that she believes that she's wrong about Ghost. No, she doesn't. No, Tiffany doesn't. I do think that Ghost is missed, and I am sorry that he was killed. I think Tariq and them was wrong for the way they took him out and all of that. But it wasn't just the fact that he had an affair. Like, you keep trying to narrow down saying that that's my issue with Ghost. That's not my only issue with Ghost, and I've said it for 6 seasons, and I won't stay on it long because I know that the audience don't like it. But my issue with Ghost was the situation with the kids. Like, Tariq, I sent you all the team an interview with Michael Rainey Jr. and he talks about Tariq and why he felt the way he did about Ghost. And in that interview, he said, ever since my father got with Angie, he said the attention that he had for the family and everything, he said, if you notice, he said, that's when Tariq started going wayward. It wasn't just a affair. I felt like Ghost didn't give the attention or did not behave as the head of the house. So he was trying to keep Tariq out the game. Yeah, he was. But at the same time, it was so much put into Angie that it was a domino effect, as you like to say, Ron, that Tariq started, he hooked up with Kanan. Kanan taught him the game. Then Raina got killed. Then it was just one thing after the other. I mean, the first thing was he took the gun. He took Angie's gun to school and got busted with that. So it was like, it was those things. Like, he didn't baby step them. Like, when he started getting with Angie, he didn't baby step the kids. He threw them into that situation. And that's why I had an issue with Ghost. I never hated Ghost. I wanted Ghost to get out the game. I just didn't like the way he handled the situation with the kids.
Well, I think we see in this episode 2 with PowerBook 2 that Tariq understood some things that he didn't understand back then.
Right.
So, you know, even with Ghost and his, you know, wanting to get away and not, I agree with you with Angie, I mean, with the kids, I understood that. But I think what Tariq is beginning to understand now is his father loved them. And,
He did.
And that what his father was trying to build and what he was trying to sustain as far as the family are 2 very complicated things that have to be brought together.
And I think the more and more Tariq starts to deal with this family, the Tejada family, and he starts to get in deep with them, I think he's okay with being around them for now. But once he sees what they're really into, and once they start asking for favors in return, he's going to see why Ghost wanted out so bad.
Exactly.
Because I probably think superficially we see what we see, but I think they're probably vicious. That he killed his uncle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only killed him, he dismembered him.
Yes. Chop. I'm like, oh my goodness, this guy, they're a ruthless family.
Yes.
Right. And he's watching. He's picking up everything. Like I said, he's using everything for his advantage. You know, he's going to be the boss one day. He's going to be the better Ghost, I believe. And, you know, he's going to do something special. You know, and I think he's going to get his mom off. I think they're going to send a couple other people away because they're building up something against the feds. They're building up something against them. So I think it's going to be a lot of twists and turns about to occur.
I got a question. What about the Ray Ray case? Did that just go away? Because at the end of the last season, Ghost was telling Tariq he had to turn himself in for the good of the family. Where did that case go?
Well, I don't think really it went anywhere. I just think that if you look at the bigger fish is getting this kingpin. Because remember, they've been after Ghost and company for a very, very long time. they weren't able to get Ghost, and which is the whole reason they want to pin all of this on Tasha, knowing full well that they really don't have a strong case. So they want to. Pardon?
No, I was gonna say. Well, you can finish your comment because mine is kind of on the other.
Well, they know they don't have a strong case, so any way they can, they're going to pin it on somebody in that Ghost regime so that they can get their just desserts. That's just the way they handle that. You know, I think Tamika would have been a better lawyer for Angie, and particularly when it comes down to if there ever came up a situation where Tariq had to, you know, say, hey, I was the one that killed him, and I killed him because he killed my twin. I think that's a better defense than anything else. But you know, I don't think that that's really where they're at right now. I think right now they're making the same mistake they did with Ghost. They're so hell bent on trying to get that, you know, empire, that all their concentration is just going into one sector, and they're not intelligently going about it the way they're supposed to. There are too many gaps, you know, just far too many gaps.
I was gonna say the other thing.
Witness for that murder is dead, right? Was it Dre or?
The witnesses are dead, and the main thing about that case with Ray, they never found a body. So how can you build a case when you don't have a body? You can't officially say that he's dead.
Well, you know, in some cases you don't need. Well, in some cases you don't need a corpus delicti. Every time, you know, most times,
right.
Yes, you do, but
everybody that they would have used to kind of back up their story is dead now too. So where can you go with it?
Which is why I say the case is pretty much dead anyway. They want the empire, and you know, truth be told, if they can get Angie, it's a done deal.
Angie.
I'm sorry, if they can get Tasha, it's a done deal.
Yeah.
And you see all of these other things are starting to pop back up, like the thing with Silver. That came back up. So I think that they're going to start popping those things back up conveniently. When
now
you
that
know
Blanca is back, she's specifically tied to the Ray case. So now that she's back, all of that stuff is going to be back on the table.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't know if you guys checked out the previews for next week, but it looks like Tasha is requesting to take the stand. I don't know if that's a good idea for her because she does not know how to control what she says.
No.
She has not been smart these past couple of episodes.
Yeah, she thinks off the top of her head, and it seems like you can, you know, get to her very easily. In fact, I started to mention that she doesn't appear to be the same Tasha she was in Power.
She's under distress. You know, she's incarcerated.
Yeah, I guess you can. I guess that could be the reason, but you know, she's just not the cool-headed, in some respects, the cool-headed young, you know, woman that she was over in. But what do you think?
I think it's because Ghost is gone. Like they were the perfect team because he was kind of like her muscle, and like she was kind of like when he needed an option, she would throw out these, you know, ideas that maybe he hadn't thought of. So they kind of worked perfect in conjunction with each other. But now that, you know, one is without the other, it's kind of like, okay, not only do I not have somebody to keep me grounded and level-headed and help me maneuver through these situations, but I'm also being hit with these bogus charges that I don't even have the money to defend myself. The money is the main thing I think that she's under pressure about because she's not used to not having the funds.
But that's where her son is showing that, you know what, Mom, I got you, because he's getting it. You know, he's going to make sure that lawyer gets paid for. The lawyer's going to do his best because, like his son told him, this is going to be the biggest case of your life. You know, he knows he's playing both sides. He's playing the lawyer. He's taking care of his mom, and he's gaining muscle. That's what I think he's gaining with Mary J and her family. He's gaining muscle.
Well, and that's more, and that mental muscle is what he's really after about.
Exactly.
You know what? I digress for a minute because I wanted to ask you all this earlier. What did you think about that outfit that Tasha showed up in on the film?
I just couldn't believe she was there. That part wasn't realistic to me.
No.
That wouldn't even be there in the first place.
This is where they do let certain people.
I did too.
But not usually dressed like that.
Not dressed like that.
In their inmate outfit.
Complicit in his murder.
Right.
That's true.
She's a suspect. So that's why
ordered his murder, so she wouldn't be there.
That's a good
Right.
point.
I was just about to say that normally in any real case, if you're accused of a murder, they'll never give you the release to show to the funeral in the first place.
Even if
So I
it's
think that was a
even if
little.
it's the spouse.
No, it doesn't matter who it is. If
The
you are a
allegation is
suspect
that
in a
she
murder,
ordered his
That
head.
she ordered, right. So you
Well,
don't
that's
get
not even an allocation.
She said it.
Right.
Yeah.
She said it.
So
Yeah.
that's a good point.
That's a
That's
good
a
point.
really good
She wouldn't be there. I was shocked. I was like, okay, they're tripping, but okay.
That
we'll go.
outfit,
And
though.
did you notice who was also there? Tate.
Hey, yeah.
Yes, I was happy to see Lorenzo back
Me
on my
too.
screen.
Yeah.
I love to see him. I love to see him politicking. Glad hand.
Mhm. Now, one other thing about the previews for next week is it looks like Mary gets like some kind of conjugal visit or something with Lorenzo, and I'm like, so not only is she dipping and creeping with the
police officer.
the guy from the precinct, yeah. So now she's getting visits with Lorenzo, and it doesn't seem like she's really invested in the relationship with him. She kind of is just using him for the protection.
That's what she said.
So
He's a
it's
queen
only a
pin.
matter of time before he gets word of that.
She's a female ghost. So, you know, what we
That's
said
different.
about...
He's in there for life.
Right.
I think that's different.
Right.
But that don't mean that he's not able to still pull strings on the outside.
Find out. Yeah,
That's true. That's true.
He kept somebody
Catch
watching.
it one way or the other.
He kept somebody.
Yeah,
watching.
I think that cop is going to get whacked.
Yeah.
But he might not. 'Cause she's probably sleeping with him just to keep him close to as well.
Yeah, but
get information
No,
about-
but somebody else is going to whack him. I'm not saying she going to do it. I
No,
think
they might do
like
it the
she
way they
said, she
did with
didn't want-
Ghost. They might do it the same way they did with Ghost when Ghost found out that Tasha was sleeping around with Silva and the other ones.
Right.
I think the guy Lorenzo may already know she's sleeping with him, and they may be waiting to again unveil that. I think the character development that they're gonna I guess unveil over the next few weeks with Mary will give us a lot more insight, because right now I don't really understand exactly where Mary fits in. I get the idea that she's a boss. I get the idea that she's like pushing buttons, but I don't really have any character development on her just yet. I don't really know who she is. At least I don't. I don't feel like they made that evident in the first 2 episodes.
Oh, I was thinking, remember when the team came down and was killed, Cedric the Entertainer?
Yeah.
Remember when they were hired to put a hit on them and they ended up killing them? I was wondering if it was going to tie back to them, whether or not they were a part of her crew.
Oh, that's good.
And then they're going to find that out at some point.
Maybe. That sounds like something.
Good point.
Yeah, but you know what? I think they're playing it too, because for some odd reason, I think Tasha's going to get out, right? And he's going to have this strong relationship with Mary J's character, and then it's going to be a struggle for her to gain her son back, because he's been with her and she's been riding for him and taking care of business and helping him out. And I think it's going to be a struggle between them two, because she's going to be like, I'm back now, and and he's going to look like, well, this has been a woman who's been in my life guiding me and been like a mother figure to me. Because I think she's going to take him under his wing and start treating him like a son, because she has a motive. She may know he has some money coming,
But she doesn't trust him, because in the preview, you can see her saying to her daughter, she was like, everyone that's around that kid is either dead or in jail.
Right.
So I think that she's definitely gonna be leery of Tariq.
But that could be
and the fact that she asked Zeke to find out everything he can about him,
right?
And that's going to be real interesting, because
Zeke and the officer.
Right.
Exactly. So I love to see what the officer comes back with.
Right.
But
that's why she's keeping him close, because he can
gotta
find
keep him
out
close.
that legal information. Something that the streets can't really find out. He knows, because he's a cop.
But I do like what
Snitching
Jason.
is never a good look. So snitching on Tommy, Tommy's well known on the street. So I don't see how that helps them with her either.
Right.
Well, it certainly doesn't help Tasha, because and just as you said, that word is out on the street.
You can't trust the son.
Well, yeah, but even if she were to get out, she needs to watch her back, because
That's true.
she just put Tommy right there on the block, and I don't know what's going to happen when she gets out, because word travels, and that's just not the place you want to be.
Yeah, being a snitch, right?
Yeah. But I do agree with what you said, Jason. I'm glad to see Mary in the mix. I think she does make a good queen pin, but I would like to see more coming from the writer standpoint, I would like to see a little more build up on her, so we know a little bit more about who she is and what she's
I
doing.
feel like it's coming.
Yeah,
I hope it's coming.
It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah, I hope so, because I think it'll be a whole lot more interesting to know than what we got right now, like scrambled eggs. I'm not sure where we are in terms of this power struggle between Tariq and Mary J. Or is it a power struggle? Is it something that
Right. You don't know if they're friends. You don't know if they're going to be enemies. But like I said, if I know Tariq based on the last show, he's going to do something wrong to them and be after him. Because if you look at even what he did with the mobsters, what he did to Tommy, what he did to everybody, he's always doing something where you're like, you're not supposed to cross these people. He's always crossing the people he shouldn't cross, including his father. He's always that person that you say he's just a wild card. And he's always thinking from a position of not always, I mean, maybe now they're trying to give him some strategy, which I saw what they were trying to build this episode with that. But if you go on his history, he's consistently screwing over the people who usually either help him or working with him. And I don't think it'll be much different with Mary J. Blige. I think he's going to get in that family. I think he's going to do something sneaky, and that's going to be the thing that's going to be hanging over his head. Yep. And that's going to be that conflict that they're going to have, for the rest of the season.
But, I was telling Tiff when we were talking, it kind of reminds me, I don't know if you guys, and I don't, we're bringing up another subject, but did you guys ever see the movie Fresh? How he was playing everybody against each other?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 12.
Yeah, and he was that kind of had me remnants of this, because how he was playing everybody, he was crossing all the people that he wasn't supposed to cross, but in the end, he came out on top. And it reminds me of that. And I think whoever's writing this, they're doing a good job, because they're keeping us guessing, and it's slow, but I think it's going to steadily progress, and it's going to get to the point now we're like, okay, now we see, because, they can't give everything up in the first 2 episodes. So
I think it's typical Power, because Power always was a slow build.
Right.
And they always told the story with Power. And then by episode 5, that's when you're at the turning point. It's like the time, and then it's just like pedal to the metal.
Right.
From
they
there.
have good writers. Whoever's writing this is definitely a good writer. And it's like,
and we do have to, understand that there are a plethora of new characters that we got to get to know and fully understand. So absolutely. I get it. And I've said, by episode 5, I think that we'll be in full force, and I think it'll be a much better viewing a situation for us, because we'll have all the answers that we're looking for right now. Right. And so I'll at least give it to episode 5, because I think that their writing is great. I think they have a bunch of great characters. They've chosen a bunch of great characters. It's just that we're in growing pains right now, because if you love Power as much as we did, this is a different day. It's a new dawn. Right. So we have to get used to it.
Right. And I think we are, and I think it's going to go in a great place. And I think the way he's setting this up, other characters are going to have spinoffs. As a writer, I'm seeing where he's going, or where the writers are going, and I think they're doing a good job. And I think it's going to go. Some of the suggestions that we gave, I think some of them are going to be true.
Okay.
All right. Well, I think we did a pretty good job dissecting this episode. Yeah. Very thorough.
And we lost Loretta. We lost LaWanda, so I'm not certain where she darted off to, but
I don't know. I just sent her a text.
Yeah, but her screen is not even up anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, one of the things I wanted to say that we didn't touch on is how the show has been interweaving the literature. Like we talked about the Great Expectations, Dickens and everything, but also the reference to Moby Dick. Because, the story of Moby Dick, Captain Ahab is constantly looking for the white whale. Method Man, Davis McLean, he referenced it when he said, the fans were always looking, they were after Ghost. Ghost was the white whale.
Right.
Now they're trying to do the same thing with Tasha. They want that family at all costs. Right. So I think they're doing a good job of, interweaving the literature with the storyline.
And they're building up with this district attorney. Basically, he knows she wasn't the one. They know Ghost was. She knows that Ghost was the one, right? So now they feel like since they didn't get Ghost because of his demise, we're going to get his wife because she knew what was going on. She reaped of the fruits of his labor. You know, whatever she benefited from him passing, of course, with probably the money and the leadership. You know, so it's something else there. You know, and
But I mean, but Tasha is completely complicit in everything that happened.
right.
Yeah,
It's not like
she
she's not the queen pin, no, but she definitely had her hand in everything.
No, she was
that
cleaning
happened
the
over
money.
that thing.
She was cleaning the money.
Exactly.
In the first season, she told Ghost to send the folks to the chop shop.
Yep.
Remember, it was her idea to send those body parts to everybody. So she's just as complicit.
And she got a body on her hands.
If not,
Don't forget,
She does have a body on her hand.
So you know what? I mean,
body on her hands.
you know what? I do believe she can go down as a queen pin because you know you got blood.
agree.
No, she wasn't the head.
Hold up,
She wasn't the head.
No, I said queen pin. I mean, so you know, in this case, king and queen because she's got blood on her hands. She's exactly, and
But she wasn't the head though. She
Yeah,
wasn't
they
the
have to
head.
prove that she was calling shots and making
Right,
orders.
she wasn't the
That's
shot
what they
caller.
can't.
look when
She
you
called
take
some
it.
shots.
She was.
Oh
That's
yeah,
not
when
true.
you
She
take
called
it.
some shots.
Yeah, when you take
a lot
it.
of shots.
When you take it in your own hands to kill someone.
Yeah.
That's calling a shot.
But that was less in terms of the drug
Right.
operation and
That
more in
was to
terms of
keep
protecting
That was
Tariq.
to keep Tariq out of jail. That was not.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
That was my organization.
Right.
She was orchestrating
You
things.
can't prove a
She was-
negative. You can't prove that she wasn't. They can make a case that she was complicit. Her name is on the
Well,
paperwork.
that's what I believe she was complicit. I certainly believe she was complicit.
That's all you need.
To say that she was the
That's true.
head.
That's
that
all.
she was
There's
calling
nobody,
shots.
there's nobody there to say that she wasn't. That's the
That's
crazy.
all. But that's all you need. They got enough. I think they have enough to convince a jury.
And the reason being is they're going to say, if I'm sure who Ghost was, nobody got close to him to take him out. But the only person that could get close enough to take him out was her. So
And
she
you
could-
said
And that in and of itself is a power move. You got to
Exactly.
think about it like this. She
That's a
took out the
strict power.
king. That makes you the queen pin right there.
You
Because-
say
Does that make this whole
She put it in
situation
position.
with the Democratic group trying to save face? Does Tasha being involved as a queen pin affect Ghost standing? Because there's no way you're married to a queen pin and you don't know about it, and then you're also trying to run for mayor. That still makes them look bad either way you go.
Well, that's what Simon was
Yeah,
trying
but
to
he's
tell
dead.
Tariq. I mean, Simon was trying to tell Tariq about this whole business, aspect that they have. So, but the problem is she runs her mouth too much. She's already,
she doesn't do good under pressure.
No, I
She
mean,
doesn't do good under
Yeah.
pressure.
you've
There's no
implicated
easy
yourself-
way out of this.
No, you've
No,
implicated
it's not.
yourself in court saying that you called the hit.
Told Tommy to do it. I
On the
was like,
record,
You can't get out of that. You said that out of your mouth. No one forced you to say it. You just blurted that out, and
on record.
that cannot be squashed.
Yeah, that was stupid.
Well, I don't say that unless she has some leverage, some type of political leverage.
But she
That's
does.
the only way it can go away, because that's the arena where things magically disappear, charges get dropped, nobody,
Which is why.
that can happen. But
And maybe that's
I'm
where
trying
that
to think
family
what
that
others
Tariq
said.
knows comes in.
Well,
Maybe
or-
that's where Braden's family can pull some
That's
strings.
what I'm saying. Braden's family is gonna play a role here when it
Well,
comes to
we
the
hope so.
funds, because he can make some things go away. He gonna keep Braden close. Watch Braden get his family to pull some strings.
That's also why you cannot tear down the legacy of Ghost.
Exactly.
Oh, I agree.
You
I didn't
cannot
want
do
him
that.
to go to that funeral and throw Ghost under the bus. So I was happy with what he said at the end. I was like,
You know what I was thinking too? Why are they trying to get? Do they think it's somebody else that did this murder? Because they keep offering her. If you tell us who did it, they keep offering her probation. So is it something that they think, because they said the description of the person being between 5'11" and 6'2"? I'm thinking, are they trying to insinuate that the district attorney guy did this or something? You know what I mean? Because they're trying to say,
I don't
Who's
think-
facts?
Facts.
Yeah.
No, I don't
Yeah.
think they think Sachs did it. I just think that
they know
I think
somebody
they're
else.
looking- yeah, and
Yeah.
possibly
know it
even
wasn't
looking for
her.
Tommy in a sense, a Tommy type.
a
Uh,
Tommy,
It's
Yeah.
time
I'm
to
trying to figure out, they keep offering her probation if she just tell us. I'm like, you can make a murder go away for probation if they just tell on this like it's
I
something
think
else to that too.
But that was
Yeah, it's
before-
probably
that
they're
was-
looking for Tommy or somebody like
Yeah.
Tommy. I don't think
Yeah.
they think it's Tariq. I don't
No,
think they.
no, I don't think they think it's
No,
gonna
and,
be.
and remember that was before the Queen Pen allegation. So I think they were looking for somebody at the top,
Mhm.
and and that they get that from her. Hey, you're gone. We don't need you. We
That
may
person.
not have been able to get Ghost, but we got the next best thing.
Right.
And so we can go ahead and deal with this
And
whole
close this
thing
out.
tied up.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
look, I know last week we were nitpicky about the height thing with Tariq and all of that stuff, but I watched several interviews with the cast, and Naturi said, no, she talked about how she watched Michael Rainey Jr., who plays Tariq, grow up on the screen, and she was like, he was a kid, and she was like, and now he's almost 6 feet. So remember that Google said he was 5'8".
Okay.
Naturi said he's almost 6 feet tall.
5'10" is almost 6 feet.
Right. So, but she said
5'8" is almost 6 feet.
Right.
But
right.
yeah,
Well,
6
plus
Right.
Naturi is really tiny too. So to her, he might look. But one of the other things I wanted to bring up in the interviews, there was a Q&A with Courtney, and in that Q&A, she did not really close the door on the fact of that we might see Ghost again.
That's what I was about to. That's what
Well, we
I-
see Angie again after her death and flashbacks and stuff that Ghost was still having.
I
Right.
would love to
He-
see.
Kanan after death still trying to direct Tariq.
Yeah.
Kanan been dead and he's still pulling strings on Tariq. So,
But there were a couple
That
things
would be-
there was a couple things she said, because it was a Q&A and someone asked if Ghost had a sister, and she was like, not a sister. So he said he may have a brother. So that then she said,
if he had a twin brother that can move in.
I would be done with them if they did that. That's so corny.
Hey,
yeah,
I
and then
have-
they
you know, I
then
have a
they
twin brother,
asked
it can
if he
happen.
had
I'm
then
with
they
you.
asked, right. Nah, no, don't do the twin. But she
No
said,
twin,
look, it's the
no
world of power, so you never know. Because somebody asked if he faked his death. And she was just like, she said, it's a world of power, anything can happen. So she, in her responses, she said the way they wrote it, they intended for Ghost to be dead. But this is power, anything can happen. So I think there's an
I
option.
think he's dead. I think we'll see him. I think we'll see him in visions. Maybe. I think
That's
we'll
what I
see
was
him in
gonna say.
memories.
Probably.
But I don't think you'll see him.
Oh
in
no, I
visions.
think he's dead. But I think that they might be listening to her in the Q&As. They might be exploring options.
Okay.
So
I think
If they bring him back, I'm done. This ain't Bobby in Dallas. I don't want to see I don't want to see Ghost coming back, yo.
I don't think
Right.
they're going to do that. I truly believe he's going to have the Tupac effect on us. You know what I mean? Like he's going to have a Tupac effect. Like he's dead, but it's always going to be a theory: is he really alive? Because a lot is going to be going on. Like, can he still be alive? Because this is too much like Ghosts. You know what I mean? And
that brings back.
They gotta move on.
I don't know if you saw the series Bates Motel.
Yes.
But, if you saw that series, Norma just couldn't die. So even when even when she was killed, as far as Norman was concerned, his mother never died. So we always saw Norma right to the very end. Even though she was dead. I don't know if I want to see that for Ghost. I'd rather see the twin brother issue.
No,
Right.
you put it wrong.
I'm good on
Well,
that.
I don't want to see
Yeah,
a
I'm
Mario
good on
Howard,
that, too.
period. Let's move on.
Yeah.
I thought he was great. I loved him on the show, but I think that storyline is sealed. And I think that if they go back to that, I think it'll do the show a disservice, in my opinion.
I think they should have never killed him, but now that they did, okay, we're
Yeah,
right.
he's dead now.
Besides,
he's
guys,
dead now.
I'm partial. I have a twin brother, so forgive me.
that's where it's coming from.
That's
Yeah.
where it's coming from.
Okay, well, we are running a little long today. So I think if you guys don't have any additional comments that you want to add, I think this is a good place to wrap up.
I'm good.
All in agreement?
I'm
Wait a
good.
minute.
Okay. Well, I would like to thank everybody who is viewing. Thank you for watching. Please make sure you click on the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you get alerted next week when we post. Also, go ahead and like this video and drop in the comments also and let us know what you thought about the episode and what your theories are. We are also on all social media platforms at The Spot Real Talk on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Jason, Hassan, do you have handles that you want to drop? Anything you want to add?
For me, it's just In the Flex, INDA Flex. You can find me anywhere and everywhere, YouTube, on IG, wherever, and that's pretty much it for me.
For me, it's Haas Grimes the Pen. It's Haas, HASSGRIMES the Pen. And on Facebook, it's Hassan Grimes. But you'll be seeing me soon. I got something coming out very soon. You know, I'm keeping it real close, but it's coming. You're gonna see me soon. We're gonna be talking about this on the spot soon too.
Excellent.
All right, nice. Well, we definitely want to thank you both for joining us. It's definitely good to have some more males on the show. We love your perspective. I'm not mad at your selections. I'm not mad. I'm glad you guys are here. So yeah,
appreciate it. Glad to be here. Anytime you need me, I'm around. So
thank you for having us. It was a balance today.
Well, look.
Yes, it's definitely balanced.
I can see the balance already. You know, Tiffany is a much calmer person. You know, I don't have to sweat as much.
You thought I was? Oh no.
Well, you kind of went off on the edge there a little bit, but for the most part, you were pretty calm. So, you know, and I have to attribute that to being more brothers in the house. But
no, we'll talk offline.
Funny.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you guys.
Yep, yeah, definitely.
It's great.
All right. Any last comments?
No, just ready for next week.
All right. Well, you guys make sure you are back here to join us next week when we talk about episode 3 of PowerBook 2. Until then, you guys have a good night.
I need so much I can't count. Oh, and I don't need no college, cause I'm getting stupid amounts. Ayy, hop in a whip and I'm out. I need so much I can't count. Oh, and I don't need no college, cause I'm getting stupid amounts. Yeah, I'm getting stupid amounts. Ayy, so much that I'm losing accounts. Ayy, I'm a young boss in my state. Yeah, so I gotta stay in my town. Ayy, I think I'm staying around. Ayy, what is they talking about? Ayy, they know I've been in the lab. Yeah, bro, why they all going out? Ayy, I got the money, it's inside. They wanna ask why I been why. In 2018, they still hate it. I see them now, they are